What's up, everybody? In this video, we are basically going to deconstruct how OpTic attacks on Ascent, and we're going to be using this game that they played against Team Liquid, where Ye went 30-9 in a dominant win for OpTic. And I just wanted to kind of show how they use him on their attack and how their entire attack revolves around Ye. And if you've been watching the tournament, you probably know by now that Ye is having a historically good performance, and his stats are just off the charts, especially his first duel. His first kills. He just has an absurd ratio of winning those first duels and getting his team an advantage. And just overall, he's the only player in the tournament that's still averaging a kill per round, and his kill death ratio is just astronomically above everybody else. So I wanted to showcase how OpTic uses Ye in their attack rounds and how their entire offense basically revolves around him as a centerpiece. So round number 2 pretty much showcases like the entire game plan for OpTic here. You're going to see right off the bat, OpTic is on attack, and we see that Ye is solo over here on B side, and he has a Marshall currently. We're going to see a lot of noise being made towards the A side of the map. And meanwhile, we can still see that Ye is essentially just holding down B. He's watching this angle. He's got a trip here, and he's eventually going to move over to middle and check on middle. Why this is so good and why this kind of all makes sense is because when they isolate Ye on one side of the map, the rest of OpTic is going to make a lot of noise and pressure towards the other side of the map. And this is all in an attempt not to actually hit that side of the map, but to draw people into Ye's crosshairs. And you can see that he is over here now checking the entrance to tree from catwalk. And if you think about it, this all kind of makes sense. If you have a player like Ye who is consistently out-dueling people in one-on-ones, if you can get him opportunities to get more one-on-ones to start rounds, that is probably going to be a pretty successful strategy. And so OpTic is essentially using Ye as a pivot point around which the rest of their attack works. So they're using a lot of pressure towards A to try and draw people to maybe push out of here for information and look for a flank, to maybe, try and flank through tree, essentially just to draw people towards the A side of the map so that they will eventually have to walk into Ye and take a duel against him to, try and take that map control. And in this case, it ends up being Marv who gets the kill. But you can see that the rest of the offense is now rotating around Ye. Ye has not moved. He's still holding the middle of the map. And so as OpTic goes ahead and hits the B site, again, Ye is still just going to hang out here. And he's now going to be looking for people that might be coming through middle. Okay, so here we are in round number 4. And this is going to be a very, very standard setup for OpTic. They've got the 3 players over here. They have Ye in tiles and, working for some middle control. And then they're going to have a secondary person, Marved, in this case, the Astra, holding the B main entrance. Sometimes Ye will hold this by himself. Sometimes it's going to be a 2-person setup. But regardless of whether it's just 1 person or 2 people, Ye is still this pivot point around which the entire offense is going to work. So again, we're going to see heavy pressure towards A main. Lots of utility expended. The orb gets picked up. They are clearly indicating to Liquid, hey, we're here. 3 of them get scanned by the Liquid KO knife. And again, we just have Ye hanging out here. Navera is going to go ahead and try and check for somebody coming up the catwalk, because this is a very common look. If you've got heavy pressure coming here, and it looks like people are going to execute onto the A site through A main, there's a very good chance that it's going to end up being a split, because splitting to hit a site is a lot more effective than just having 5 people funnel through a very small choke point. So this is all indicating that there's a hit coming into the A main through the choke, and very likely that indicates there will be some more pressure coming through tree. So when Navera goes to look for the tree pressure, he ends up just dueling Ye at long range and is not expecting somebody to be shooting him from tiles. And so the interesting thing here is that after this initial contact that Ye makes and gets the kill, OpTic kind of goes for like a second layer of the same play where they still have their 3 initiator characters over in A main, again, kind of faking, oh, we're going to hit the A site. And you can see that the rotations are happening from Liquid. 3 players have now rotated over towards A. And the pivot now is happening around Ye, except this time Ye has actually moved from the tiles and deep mid area up through middle. And this is going to be a very common theme as well, where it's still using him as this sort of central piece that they're moving around. And so as Optic rotates all the way over towards B, you have Ye making this kind of very aggressive push up through middle and finding a quick kill on Scream there. So now things are really, really dire for Liquid because they have this, very dangerous position that's kind of stopping any rotations from the A to the B site. And they have several players now grouped up outside of B main and ready to hit the site. So Ye is again kind of this piece that is being pivoted around, and he's creating a lot of havoc in the back lines, finds another kill there. And again, actually, because Optic is so confident in their ability to manipulate the map, they get the kill over on B, and they decide once again to pivot around Ye and head towards the A site. So this is a super late round, mid-round call by FNS and crew, but it's basically using Ye as this central piece that they can move their entire offense around. And they're eventually just going to overwhelm Dimasec and take the round. Okay, so round number 7 is really cool because Optic is going to switch things up, but it's not really as different as it might appear. You're going to once again notice that we have Ye alone. He is on the A site this time, and we do have the triple initiator over towards the B main area with Marv holding down tiles. But again, this entire offense is going to sort of be facilitated by where Ye is and how the rest of the offense can work around him. So he's going to work his way up Cat, and he has the trip holding A main in case the defense pushes aggressively out into Gelato. And you can see that there's lots of utility being traded by the initiators in B main, but they're also starting to shade their way over towards A. Again, they're pivoting around where Ye is because he's just such a strong map control piece and strong weapon to use to work their way onto a site. And so he's actually going to, kind of take contact with the help of the initiators in through tree. Again, Optic is going to explore middle a little bit. They're going to trade some utility, find a kill there. And it kind of looks like they're maybe starting to think about going to split B, but that's not the case because, again, Ye is the pivot. Ye is the key player in all of their attacks. And as a result, they're going to let him work his way into tree, find a kill, and eventually group up behind him as he pushes onto the site. So we've shown a lot of the successes of this offense. It's now 9-0, Optic in the lead. I do want to show one round where Liquid does a great job countering this style of play. Again, we're going to see the same offensive setup from Optic. More importantly, we have one player just tasked with never leaving the middle of the map. Soulcast on the fade is just holding an angle, and he's going to hold this angle for what seems like half, maybe even 2/3 of the round, because Optic they're desperately trying to draw Liquid into the same types of mistakes that they've been making over and over and over. We're even going to see a fourth rotation as Astra makes their way over here. Again, this is all trying to activate Ye so that they can make sort of a mid-round pivot around his positioning. And it's just never going to happen because Liquid is playing this extremely passively because they have finally realized this is the plan for Optic. So after getting nothing, no information, Optic eventually decides, okay, let's just go ahead and hit A. We've kind of done this faking thing a bunch of times. We have the Astra ult. Ye will find some sort of alert kill eventually. Let's just go ahead and hit A. We have stronger weapons anyway. And you're going to see the patience finally pay off for Team Liquid here because as Optic drops their utility and starts to push on the A site, Ye is going to make his familiar play up middle and eventually just walk directly into Soulcast's crosshairs. Great shots from Navera as well, and Optic finally loses a round here on attack. So Liquid was able to pick up one more round, but the final round of the half is really just the perfect capstone of how this attack works. We're actually going to see all 5 players for Optic set up outside of B this time, and they're going to drone through middle. They're going to be stopped by this one way. They're going to create a lot of pressure over here, showing Liquid, hey, we mean business. We're going to try and push the B site, but it's not that simple. It's never that simple with Optic. And you'll notice that Ye is now posted up with the Tour de Force on a very familiar angle. He's watching the top of Catwalk, waiting for the same sort of push for information that he did back in round number 2, back in round number 4, back in round number 6. The same type of play is now happening once again, except it is a little bit more complicated because the initial pressure gives a different look to Team Liquid. And again, we now see the Optic initiators rotating over towards A, and we have a pretty familiar setup once again, except this time, Optic is going to allow Ye to go hunting. He has the Tour de Force, he's deadly with this weapon, and they're actually going to have Marv watching middle while the initiators make noise at A. And you can see the rotations are already happening from Liquid. It seemed pretty clear that Optic all throughout the half was making noise one site and then hitting the other one. So they made noise B, and now they're rotating towards A to hit. At least that's what it looks like to Liquid, but that's not the end of this round, because once the initiators have set up over towards A, it's kind of just like the default start to all of the previous rounds that they've been doing before. And actually, Crash is going to go down here. They're throwing a bunch of utility. FNS actually uses the Fade Ultimate to further sell that this is the hit. But again, Ye is the focal point to their offense. So Ye and Marv have worked their way onto B. We see the Spike pivoting back over to the B site. And now Victor is actually the one who's activated in middle as the Spike is going to make its way in. And even though Victor goes down, it does buy time for Optic to set up, and they are going to go ahead and close out this round for a super dominant 10-2 half. It really just shows how Optic's system is functioning to utilize their strongest weapon and give him as many opportunities as possible to win them rounds, or at least get them started with some forward momentum towards that goal. So hopefully you enjoyed this breakdown, and sorry to Optic for kind of anti-stratting you live, but I'm sure that nobody from your opponents will be watching these videos before the end of the tournament.